So I was reading yesterday the letters of one of the inmates that I correspond with, and he wrote about somebody, a suicide of a family member. And I remember I gave a few talks about suicide, was it last month? And so I thought this would be good to add on to the series, just in case sometime in the middle of the night somebody Googles Buddhist and suicide and this comes up and maybe it'll help somebody. So this is from somebody who's in a prison in North Carolina. He's in for life for murder, and he's quite close to his family. He has a big family. So he wrote me in one of the letters. He said, "My cousin Maggie died last month from an intentional drug overdose. My father called to the chapel and gave me the news." He works in the chapel, so that's why the father called there. "Despite not seeing Maggie in 13 years, probably because he's been incarcerated, I broke down. Memories as children were rushing, and I sobbed in Chaplain Hackett's office. She was 2 months shy of turning 30. Her sister, my cousin, is helping her husband to look after her 2 boys, which are both autistic. My father sent me some extra money so that I could call my grandmother to comfort her. She has had to bury 3 of her 5 children, and now to bury a grandchild." And then later in the letter, he enclosed a poem that he wrote that's called For Maggie, that I thought I would read. Okay. So apparently he was close to Maggie when they were kids, hadn't seen her in a long time, because the rest of the family, I think, is in Texas. He's in North Carolina in prison. And yet, that feeling of closeness with his cousin never disappeared. So he wrote, "When life seems totally worthless and not worth living, please know that someone loves you. You may not know me, but my love knows you. I've been there too. Thinking life sucks and it isn't worth living, not worth the trouble or the hassle. You see, someone was there for me in my darkest hour. They pulled me into the light of compassion, the light of understanding that everyone goes through hardship, everyone gets knocked down, but are we willing to get back up? I tell you, sometimes we need a helping hand to help pick us back up, and that's okay. We should be there for one another, despite our situation. Life is worth living. My love knows you, even in your time of hopelessness. Allow me to share my love so that in the future your love shall in turn help others who are in need." So I just wanted to share that with everybody. Yeah. And I'm sure he's been through some very tough things. I'm asking him to write some more about some of his life experiences in the hopes that other people can learn from them and avoid those same mistakes. Okay, so if I can reword what you're saying, is that he's addressing this poem to someone else, but it's really showing his own inner transformation and how he was once in that very desperate state. And through changing his way of thinking and through someone else coming and helping him, and through him reaching out and accepting someone else's love, that helped him pull himself out of that way of thinking. And then over time, he's continued to transform and to develop good qualities so that now he's able to do what he expressed in the last line, which is to share that love with others. And so it inspires you in terms of your own practice and in terms of gaining faith and confidence in other living beings.